Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more.
Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more. And at this time, I'd like to welcome Grammy-nominated artist Pio Trevino to my morning show. Good morning, Pio.
Pues good morning, Robert. ¿Cómo han estado todos mis amigos? It's a pleasure being on the air con, you know, all la onda tejana. You know, I'm somebody that I've always been with the onda, and it's a great pleasure for me to be able to perform and do what I do on stage for the people for many years, and I'm very proud to be on the air, Robert. Thank you.
That is awesome, Pio. I feel very blessed to have you join me on my morning show. Like I said, a lot of my listeners have asked me, Robert, when are you going to get Pio Trevino on your morning show to interview him? And I said, I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna find it. Where there's a will, there's a way. I'm gonna find his number, his contact information, and lo and behold, I got it, Pio. And like I said, welcome to my morning show. Now, Pio, before anything else, I hear that you've been keeping very, very busy.
Yes, we have. We've been performing everywhere, and it's great because, you know, I had a little standstill there for a little while, and I started, you know, getting serious and more serious, and now I'm out there performing, you know, every weekend, and you know, I try to entertain as much as I can, and try to be as much as I can into the circuit, but you know, I have so many things in my life. I have, you know, my kids, my grandkids, it's this. My wife, as I speak right now, she's at a baseball game, and I couldn't go to it, so because I was going to do this interview. So I'm missing a baseball game, which is not too much because it's kind of windy out there.
Now, I understand that y'all were having some weather issues yesterday cuando llegaste para atrás of being on the road performing, that you had some flooding issues.
Yeah, we were in Austin, and you know, when we took off from Austin, it started raining, and all the way from Austin all the way to Cal Allen, and then once we got to Driscoll, it started raining even harder, and then we're getting close to Kingsville, to home, and man, it was pouring down. We were driving like 5 miles an hour, and when we got home, my backyard was flooded. I mean, I'm talking about flooded, you know. And I had my man cave back there, so that sucker was flooded. You know, so I put my rain boots and I went to the backyard, and I have a sump pump, and I put it up there, and I started draining my water out because I live in elevation where my house is lower, and so all the water travels down to my backyard. So that's what I was doing yesterday, you know, for Memorial Day, and then my wife even told me, because I wanted to barbecue, and she goes, you can't barbecue because, you know, the yard is full of water. But I said, no, I just put my rain boots, got up there, and I was barbecuing. And it's like, well, you know, because, I mean, after having a hard weekend, you know, I mean, on the road and stuff. And,
Sure.
We played in Corpus, and we went and played in McAllen, and then we went and played in Austin, and then we came home. And, you know, it's I mean, like, I'm not a young guy anymore, you know, and it sometimes the road takes a toll on you, you know.
Of course it does, of course.
You know,
Pio, let me ask you this, Pio. You're going to have to refresh my memory on this one. Amigo, I can't remember the last time I heard of any event going on here in San Antonio where Pio Trevino was performing. Have you been here lately?
In San Antonio?
Yes.
Yeah, I've played at the Far West. Gosh, what was it, a place? We've done the areas downtown.
Were you here for Fiesta?
For Fiesta? No.
Okay, but you've been here lately, ¿verdad?
Yeah, I was there for the fanfare.
Okay, I got you. For fanfare. There we go.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
there for the fanfare.
Okay, you know, Pio, te digo, aquí me traen, dude. They got me left and right here going crazy, dude. And like I said, that's why I said refresh my memory on this. Pio, amigo, now let's go back to the beginning. Let's get back to the very beginning with Pio Trevino. Now, where does this name Pio Trevino and Magic come from?
Well, well, of course, Pio Trevino, that's what they call me, Pio, right? My real name is Porfirio.
Okay.
And then the Magic came in because my producer, Rick Garcia, from Hacienda Records, he's been my producer for many years. And he, when we were, because I had just gotten out from La Movida band. And when I got out of La Movida band, well, I started my own band. And I wanted to find out what kind of a name to put, you know, for the band. And Rick just told me, he goes, name it Mafia. And I said, no, it sounds too much like Mafia, you know. I said, and we'll confuse the people. I said, I'd rather, you know, why don't we just say Magic? And there was a band around Austin or something like that, that the name was Magic also, but it was with a G. So I went ahead and I used the J in there.
Ah.
And that's how I did it, you know. And then I started using a slogan like, the magic is in the music of Pio Trevino, you know.
Sure.
And you know, different little things, you know, Magic Fever, Catch It, you know, stuff like that. It was, back in the 80s when I started my band, it was hard because the competition that was out there was very strong. And we were like me and Joe Lopez, we would see each other on the road all the time. And I've known Joe and Jimmy since they used to be with the Bel Airs.
Wow.
And they used to open up, they used to open up for us when I was part of a band called La Conexión Mexicana from Kingsville. And like we played everywhere, man, big states and everything. I mean, we were doing big time. And then, I mean, I was younger. I was like a teenager back then. And then when I went with La Movida, because I even did some rock and roll, you know. I started doing some rock and roll, and then the roadies were getting paid more than the band, so I said, no, this is the band. That's what I could. So, you know, and over here with us, we have like quinceañeras and weddings, you know. So I said, well, you know, we'll have gigs doing this, you know. And then before you know it, just the radio starts getting you. You start getting performances everywhere. I mean, I played 3 years in a row in the Cotton Bowl for the Mexican Fiesta over there. 3 years in a row.
Wow, that's impressive.
I sang Somebody Loves You at the 50-yard line, dude, with that band, La Conexión Mexicana, and I got a standing ovation from 50-some-odd thousand people there, man. And when that happened to me, I'm going like, wow, that was a big high for me, you know.
Sure.
You know, and you know, I've done like when there was that disaster, the earthquake in Mexico City, and I was recording with a label from Mexico, you know, it's CBS.
Sure, CBS, sure.
And well, actually it was RCA. It was RCA Internacional. And we went ahead and a bunch of the artists that were recording for RCA, we played at the Astrodome. There was 80-some-odd thousand people there. And I remember my mom, she was living in Houston with my sister, because my sister had some babies and she wanted for her mom to be there, you know. So my mom went to the Astrodome, and they had the big old screen, and my mom got up and she said, "That's my son." And this guy goes, "Yeah, lady, sure." And I look just like my mom, dude. I look just like my mom. And the guy looks at my mom, he goes, "He is your son." And I mean, it was something that I contributed, you know, with my band, and we had a big success off of that. I mean, it was huge, and you know, like for the Grammys, I was nominated back in 1988 for the Grammys, and I was lucky to be in the presence of Linda Ronstadt as the one that won the Grammy that I was, nominated for.
Right.
I mean, it was an honor for me, because I mean, I think she's won almost every category on that card,
But just to be nominated for a Grammy at that time, I'm telling you, man. I mean, you were in presence of royalty with other artists, no doubt.
You know what? One thing that I've noticed, and I'm not going to be saying this because of me, but I am still the only one that was in prime time for the Grammys. You know how they have one Grammy like at 2 o'clock, and then at night they have the main one. Well, that's the one that I was in, and I had also, they roll the carpet for you, and to this day I haven't seen any of the Tejano artists be able to be identified like that.
That is an interesting fun fact. That really, really is. Because usually the Latin Grammys, they come out early, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Yeah. That's the winners. You know what I mean?
I mean, I was going to get an interview with Barbara Walters also, man. And
really?
It didn't happen because of the fact that everything was running so late, And when they tell you, you get in a bus, they take you to the Shriner Auditorium, and you have to be there. And you see it has your name on it, You sit on there, and you're sitting right behind Metallica, and freaking Whitney Houston is standing right in front of me, and I mean all these big artists there. Elton John, I mean, gosh, man.
What am I doing here with all these
I know,
stars,
man.
Right?
So, I mean, sometimes me and my wife, we start reminiscing. We start going, wow, we've achieved this much, at least, and it's something that, but to me, it's like, I always go back to the story of the time I was playing in Houston. And all of a sudden I got laryngitis, and I could barely speak. And we had 1,500 plus people in the hall. And the owner of the place comes and he tells me, it was the Starlight Ballroom. The guy comes and Emmanuel tells me, he goes, Pio, don't worry, man, you're going to get better. You're going to get better. It was 7 o'clock, and I was still the same. 8 o'clock, and I'm supposed to start like at 10:30. And I got up there and I told the people, I said, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to be singing. I'm going to play a tape and I'm going to be singing through it, but I'm not going to be the one coming out, You
were going to lip sync.
Yeah, I was going to lip sync, and I wanted for the people to make sure that I wasn't going to lie to them, So I went ahead and I was performing like that, right? And then I stopped and I told the people, I said, I have this lowest key song that I recorded, and it was a good song, Amor Dormido. I said, I'm going to go ahead and sing this song, and I'm going to tell my engineer to turn my mic on and everybody, and we're going to play live. And I started, man, and I tried, and I couldn't do it, And you should have seen the people that were in the front. There was hundreds of people in the front. And the people were all like freaking out, like, stop, you don't have to show us that you can do it, you're sick, stop, So when I finished playing, I was really disappointed in myself because it was something that had never happened to me in my entire life. So I was very disappointed, and then there was a couple that came up to me, and they were like in their late 60s. And the husband comes and he says, Mijo, he goes, you don't have to prove to us that you can sing. We know you can sing. We want you to take care of that voice. Because he goes, my wife puts your cassettes, because back then it was the cassettes that people used. He goes, she puts your cassette and she starts making me tortillas. And she goes, if anything ever happens to you, she'll start making me tortillas. So, I mean, it's funny. I always remember that. No matter what, that's always in my mind, you know. And I mean, those are the simple things that get me going, you know. Because a lot of people tell me, yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Pio. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, because a lot of people tell me, you know, how do you stay doing what you're doing and you still sound the same and all this, and I don't know. I mean, la voluntad de Dios, and the fact that you know, I get this energy whenever people give me, like, they start dancing, because I love to watch people dance. I love it, you know. So it's something that I love to do, and I never thought that I was going to do it like that.
Amigo, let me ask you this question. How long were you with La Movida?
For about 2.5 years, something like that.
Okay, you were with La Movida for 2.5 years before Magic came, ¿verdad? It was La Movida, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Okay, now you're with La Movida for 2.5 years. Why did the separation come?
From La Movida?
Yes.
Oh, well, it all started because when I joined La Movida, I didn't even know who they were, the guys. It was a band that went and recorded at the studio where I was recording at, and my producer, Rick, told me, Pio, come and take these guys out, you know. They had left their songbook in there, and they were all 10 original songs. And I was listening to them, and I laid down some tracks. And it sounded, I mean, great, you know. And so from there, you know, we got together and we kicked it off, and it was like an overnight success. It really, really was, you know. And we started playing everywhere and stuff like that. I mean, and everywhere we'd play, we'd pack them up, and, you know, because we had the kind of like the Kiss look, like with a Kiss rock band, you know,
yeah,
with the high shoes and, you know, the big old bell bottoms and stuff like that, and the vest with showing your hair and you know, stuff like that. That's the way we were, and we attracted a lot of people. Plus, the music was great, and I'll always say this. I mean, it was one of the favorite bands that I've ever been with, you know, and as far as my vocal scene, because I always sang in the past with trios. I always blended in with different voice segundas and contraltos and all that stuff. But when I started with La Movida, that's when I was kind of like, okay, you're going to be doing the lead, and that's it. You know, and it started working, and I mean, man, it was great. But you know, things when after the dance, because I started saying La Movida de Ricky Smith. And Ricky Smith was a guitar player.
Yeah.
And he also composed. And he's a great artist and everything, you know. But the thing was that when at the end of the dance, people would come and tell me, hey, Rick, you're a damn good singer. And I'd say, no, I'm not Rick, man, I'm Pio. That's Rick, you know. So then one day I came up and I told Rick, I said, hey, man, you know, why don't we send a memo out to all the radio stations telling them on behalf of Pio Trevino vocals, Rick Smith guitar, Mario Canales keyboards, Javier Canales bass, Joe Ortiz drums, we'd like to thank you for your support and God bless you, whatever, you know? Just to identify the artists that are in the band.
Sure.
You know? And Rick thought that it was a stupid idea, that they were going to laugh at us. And I told him, I said, dude, I said, you know, I'm a person that I like to get identified to. And they identified the band as Ricky Smith, y La Movida Band. When I joined the band, the thing was that it wasn't going to have nobody's name in there. It was just going to be La Movida.
Like right, La Movida, sure.
And then the DJs and other people started changing it to La Movida de Ricky Smith, you know, because Ricky was the one who was booking the band, you know. at the same time performing with us, playing the guitar. And I mean, it was one of the main ingredients in the band. But I wasn't taking anything away from him. I was only wanting for people to know who we were, you know. And so when that happened, it's like, you know, I kind of said, well, you know, dude, I mean, if we can't think alike in this manner, you know, I think I'll go my own way, you know. And I gave him like 3 months before I did it. And, I mean, it was a shame. And then after we did it, I even tried to go back with him. And then at the last moment, they decided to stay with the guy that they had. Because
that was before Magic, when you tried to go back anyway. Was that before Magic?
Yes. Yes, because I was trying to start a band, and it was so hard. Over here, there's over here we have a college, and there's a lot of great musicians, but their onda is not to go out and perform, you know. Their onda is school, you know. So I wanted somebody that would be ready to go in the studio, record, and perform and all this, you know.
Theo, let me ask you this. What roundabout year was this happening, cuando pasó the breakup between you and La Movida? What can you kind of roundabout 85, 86?
No, 81.
81, okay. I was trying to get a feel for it, 81. So when La Movida came up with a song called Por Ti, you were already gone, ¿verdad? Remember they came out with a song called Por Ti?
¿Es Por Ti?
Yeah, La Movida came out with a song called Por Ti.
No, that's. I was still singing with them.
When they came out with Por Ti?
It was called Es Por Ti. Unless they had another song, because I know they had Rubén Boteo was the one who started right after I got, and he was a dynamite singer.
Oh, I got you. I see that Es Por Ti. I'm with you on that. The Por Ti that I'm talking about, it was, I could be twisted here. I could be twisted on it because I know they came out with a song called Ricky La Movida, where it starts off with a guitar, with a strong guitar. And the song is called Por Ti, and it's called La Movida. But I think that song came out back, I'm going to say, in the early 90s, 90, 91.
Okay, well, yeah, that's because at a certain time also he started singing the lead.
There we go. There we go. You know? That's it right there. That's where it is. So look at Pio, you're finding out porque si es trabajo. I've told every Tom, Dick, and Harry, this is not easy. What you guys are doing, and todos los get on stage cantando and saying, "Oh man, I want to do that." They don't know the half of it. So look at you know, I guess you do your homework. You find some guys and you put together magic, ¿verdad?
Yes. Yeah, we I got some guys, and a couple of them were from here, from Kingsville. And as a matter of fact, about 3 of them were from Kingsville, and then a couple of them, you know, like my bass player turned into the keyboard player, and then we had a guitar player from here, and Lorenzo Gonzalez, which he's already passed, and we had William Cuellar. He's the guy who started the keyboards with me. He helped me a lot, you know, and but it was hard, man. It was hard, and then, you know, we start performing, and, you know, it's like you're doing concerts with La Mafia, with La Sombra, you know, Lil Joe, you know, with all these big, powerful bands, you know. And back then there was a bunch of concerts. Everything was great. There was a lot of work, you know, a lot of work. Now it's hard, because now it's hard to find work. You know,
sure it is. Sure,
you know,
you're right.
You know, and you try to work with the people as much as you can también. You know, it's like you know, because if there's anything about me, I've never said I want to get rich and have, you know, $1 million. I've never been like that. I just want to be able to live and survive, because el día que te vas no te llevas nada, you know. And,
Amigo, where did you come out? Now let's talk about some of your music. Let's talk about Somebody Loves You.
Okay.
¿Dónde salió tu idea para esta canción? Where did the idea come from for the song Somebody Loves You?
Actually, it goes back all the way to 1974, 75, with a man that he just passed also, Johnny Gonzalez. He used to have one of the biggest record labels in the Onda, which was El Zarape Records.
Okay, sure,
And
Zarape Records.
Yeah, we were recording with them when I was with La Conexión Mexicana, and we were like his favorite band. And one time he had gone to Mexico, and he was over there in Mexico, and he heard this record, and it was just a bilingual song, and this lady was singing it. To this day, I don't know who wrote it, to tell you the truth, you know. But when he told us, he goes, I'm flying to San Antonio. I want you guys to go to San Antonio. I want you to buy you a little recorder, because back then it was a 45 record. And we had to stop and get us a little record player that would play that on the road for us, you know. And we were learning it, and we went to Joey Studios in San Antonio. And we went and recorded it there. And it made a big old hit. And when it came out, the album was also titled Somebody Loves You. And at that time, I had to get out of the band, and I got out of the band, and I left a big old hit out there, you know. And my life changed there, you know, because then I started doing rock and roll and stuff like that. I was trying to fit, and things were not happening. And then La Movida came out, you know, and that's when, you know, things changed for me, you know.
What made you appeal? What made you say, you know what, man, this isn't working? You recorded Somebody Loves You, the album, cassette, we're going to go that route. What made you say, this isn't working, man, I'm going to rock and roll? Where did you say, this isn't happening? What disappointed you the most?
Well, the fact, I guess, you know, that band that I was with, I was the youngest guy. I was not married, and all the other guys were married and stuff, and things were different. I wanted to go and do it, but to me, these guys were going to anchor me down, you know, and that's when I had to, you know, make a change. And I was trying to go big because I have relatives in New York. And I have an uncle that used to be a professional entertainer over there. And he had he knew some big people. And he wanted me to go over there, so I had to go and try and record something. That's how me and Rick started.
I got you.
Then we started recording like that, and we would go all the way to Victoria into it was like a trailer house. But man, inside it was built real nice. It was called Paul Westbrook Studios. And we'd go there and we lay down some tracks. Rick would play the guitar, and then we'd start figuring out the music and stuff. And it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. And then I sent the stuff to my uncle, and this guy heard it. And I think his name was Phil Shapiro. The guy wanted for me to go to New York, that he was going to make me into a big old artist. But he wanted me to do it in Spanish. He goes, you'll do it in Spanish, and then once you make it in Spanish, then you can turn around and go into English and you become a huge star. And the guy says, and I got a lot of money to make you whatever you want. And I was going to go do that, man. And then all of a sudden, that's when La Movida came out, you know. When La Movida, opportunity came out, and I gave up that opportunity to go to New York to do that, you know.
I got you.
And it's kind of like, you get confused because you don't know, did I do the right thing? Did I, you know? But I thought I did because, I mean, with La Movida, I mean, it was a big success, you know. But I mean, in our industry, the way it happens, Los Gringos, you know, we'll have 8,000 people, and you know, we think that it's bastante. And Los Gringos, they have 80,000 people.
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
There's a big difference, you know. And I wanted, you know, and I was young, and I wanted to pursue that, you know, so bad that, you know, my determination was always there, but sometimes things don't work out the way you think that they will. And a bunch of little obstacles, you know, and then before you knew it, you know, it's like, I got married, and then it didn't work, got divorced, and then, you know, I was trying it again, and you know, then the magic came, you know.
Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more.
Amigo, all this time that you're doing all of this is going right before magic. You're doing all of this. I got to ask you, and I'm going to put it in the way my mom tells me, because my mom tells me, mijo, you got to get a real job. Get out of the music business. So I'm going to ask you, Pio, all of this going on, the music, todo esto, did you have, we'll call it a real job, un trabajo regular, or were you just doing the music and that was it?
While I was singing, I started singing since I was 14. I'm 65 now. And when I started singing, I was working in the racetrack at the King Ranch with racehorses, because that's what my dad did. And I always thought that that's how my life was going to be, working with racehorses. And, you know, and then little by little things start happening. You start singing at parties, and people, you know, they listen to you, and they recommend you to other people and all this, and it starts growing, and you're working, doing this, and you start working, doing quinceañeras, weddings or whatever, and then you start doing the little clubs and so on. And at the same time you're working.
Yeah.
As we speak right now, I'm a full-time electrician, Monday through Friday. I've been doing this for 17 years already. I got out of work, took a shower, and I was over here ready to do the interview with you. I mean, I work hard, man. I work hard. I don't mess around, man. I gotta make sure that you know, I have, because I've got 4 daughters, 1 son, my wife Bessie, and me and my wife, we're grandparents to 15 grandkids.
Congratulations.
And 1 on the way, a little girl.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And that's what keeps me going. I mean, it's like life changes things all of a sudden and stuff, you know. But there's been, like, I'll never forget the time when I was gonna play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I was working that same day. On the Thursday, I was working at the racetrack, and I was clipping the ears of this racehorse. Nobody in the barn knew how to clip ears but me. And it was the last filling, and I was clipping her last ear. And the jockey that was holding the horse, there was another jockey there telling him, "Hombre, let a man show you how to hold a horse," and all, you know. They were playing around. Well, the horse got up, and the horse hit me right in the face, and almost broke my nose and my teeth, and I could stick my tongue through my bottom lip, and I was freaking out, man. And I had to perform that night, you know. they took me to the doctor and stuff, and the doctor thought that I had been in a fight. So he did not give me a tetanus shot. Did not give me a single pill or anything. So I was off on the road to go perform like that. We played in Victoria with Jimmy Edwards' Latin Breed, when Jimmy Edwards played with Latin Breed. Wow. And Jimmy was a real good friend of mine, and Jimmy goes, Pio, you don't have to sing, dude. We'll still split the money, man. You know, don't sing, dude, because I had a bandana with a cube of ice, and I would sing, and when I wouldn't sing, I put the cube of ice on my lip, and then I take it off. And I did one set like that. The last set, I couldn't finish it. So from there, we took off to Dallas. We were going to go play at Johnny Gonzalez's El Zarape ballroom. Over there, he had his own ballroom. And over there, you play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the same place, you know? So we went over there, and he took me to his doctor. I had 104.5 fever. And they had to give me some a tetanus and some big medication. The guy told me, don't drink any alcohol because you'll freaking flop over and collapse. And I said, okay, don't worry about it, you know. I sang like that 3 days, like that. And I mean, it wasn't easy, you know, but things that you have to go through to sing. And it's not easy to try to sing when your lips are all messed up, man.
I can only imagine, dude, and the pain. You weren't bleeding at the time?
My last, because I had like a little goatee. Back then, I had a little goatee. And I'm singing Long Train Running by the Doobie Brothers, and I'm getting into it. And my cousin, the other guy that sings with me, Pete Cavazos, he looks at me, and he goes like, shows me like on the beard, like this, touches with his hand. And I went to touch it like that, and I had busted 2 stitches, you know. But that was the last of the song. But those pills, with those pills that I was taking, I couldn't feel anything, you know. But
wow, what a story! Now that's if anybody's paid his dues, Pio, it definitely is you, amigo. Espino, even doing, you know, Pio. One thing that you're telling me about your story, that you know, what a gesture from Jimmy Edwards to tell you, hey, dude, don't worry about singing. We're still going to give you your cut of the money. Don't worry about it. Take care of yourself. That's it. You know, a lot of people wouldn't make that gesture, Pio.
Well, back then the bands were like a family. We took care of each other, you know. No había envidia ni nada de eso, ¿entiendes? And there's a lot of that right now, you know. And we need to go back to the way things used to be, because, you know, one day you need somebody, you know, no matter who you are. You know, that's what I've learned, you know. I mean, it's like the worst thing that ever happened to me was when my dad passed away. Because I was playing in Victoria, and the day after Victoria, I was going to play in Puerto Vaca. And I was in my bus fixing my, I had just bought me a brand new stereo, and I bought new speakers, and I was trying to program the stereo. And when I'm programming the stereo, the station from Puerto Vaca announces that the gig for Puerto Vaca was going to be canceled because my dad had just passed away. And they had already told each other that nobody was going to tell me that my dad had passed away. You know? And whenever it was almost time to perform, even my brother, he was my road manager, my oldest brother David, he comes up to sing, and I told him, I said, hey, I just heard on the radio that Dad passed away. And he goes, well, you weren't supposed to hear it like that, you know. But, you know, because I was doing a prom that night, and the people from the prom were all, you know, they didn't know what was going to happen, and I said, hey, if my dad was to come down right now, he'd tell me to get my ass on stage and perform, you know. And that's exactly what I did.
Wow. Wow.
But that was the hardest thing I ever done in my life.
I can understand, Pio. I understand. I can understand. You want to take a break?
No, I'm fine. I just, You know, the things that we have to go through, you know, that it's just like everybody else, you know.
Amigo, I have told people, I've been in the music business a long time, and I have told people, when you're in the entertainment business, the music business, you give up your holidays, you know, your weekends, your family, many, many times, your kids, your wife, your husband, porque estás en el camino. But that is part of what you give up when you're in the music business, and it's sad que cosas así como te pasó a ti con tu papá, even more so to find out the way you found out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you see, my dad used to be a singer also. And my dad got to sing with Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, all those big guys. He used to sing in the same clubs with them in New York, because that's where he met my mom. He was working for the King Ranch with the racehorses. He used to go with the racehorses every May and stay over there until September when they have to come back. And my dad used to sing. You know, they used to call him the Mexican troubadour. So I learned my singing from him because I'm old man, but my dad made rings around my butt, man, singing. I mean, my dad was I don't think there was anybody that could sing better than him. But, you know, it was a gift, you know, and I have to respect it, and things happen to us, you know, and we have to, you know, get up and brush yourself and you know, keep on going.
Amigo,
you know?
let's move forward. Let's move forward now. Okay, here we go. Mira, amigo, you've done so much in your lifetime. You've blessed us with a lot of your music. I mean, I could go with the song Amigo. I could go with Quiéreme. I could go with Te Quiero Mucho. But I tell you what, let's concentrate on this song right here, Burbujas y Amor. Talk to me about the song.
Well, when I first heard Juan Luis Guerra come out and sing it, you know, I said, I love that song. I love it. Y tengo un compadre del Valle, mi compadre Jorge Ramírez. Él me dijo, compadre, I'll get you the song. Y me la consiguió y la ensayamos ranchera. Y no, hombre, I mean, I love it. It's one of my favorite songs. You know, I love to sing it. I mean, because, you know, being a singer, you know, you always want to sing a good song, you know. You want to sing a good song that makes you happy and you know that the people out there are feeling it the way you are. Because I have to admit, sometimes I listen to myself when I'm singing, and I tell my God above, I tell him, thank you very much, you know, because I feel that I'm doing my job and I'm doing it correctly. And it didn't happen overnight. I mean, it took a long time before I had confidence in my singing and having the resistance, you know, because that's one thing when you're a singer and you're a professional singer, you have to have resistance, which means that, you know, you're out there and you're going to go sing for 3 hours. You're going to sing for 3 hours. I'm not the kind of guy that stands around, you know, talking and making dedications and killing time, you know.
You're right.
I like to get to it. And I've even had people that own the halls or clubs or whatever, they'll tell me, Pio, whenever you perform, man, I sell a lot of beer. Because you make people drink, and that's what we want. Yeah,
Amigo, I love the way you arrange the song Burbujas y Amor. It's fast-paced. It's Tejano, completamente Tejana, you know, with the keyboards and stuff. I mean, I've got to ask you this question, Pio. Back in the 90s, cuando Tejano estaba pegando, I'm going to go from 91 to 94. Maybe you were aware of it, maybe you weren't. I don't remember this, but there was a club in San Antonio called T-Town. Do you remember a club called T-Town?
Oh, man. Shoot. I think I do, but, man, it's kind of...
Okay. I ask you this because T-Town was a heavy hitter. It was the big boy in San Antonio. Todos, Selena, todos. And you know what, amigo? To this day, I always wonder, why didn't Pio ever come perform at T-Town? Porque we had all the heavy hitters. Y una cosa te lo voy a decir, amigo. I used to play the hell out of your song, Burbujas de Amor, and the dance floor would get packed. I mean, tocando esa canción. And it's just weird how some of these artists, you know, como te digo, we had the big guns, todos. You know, pretty much every Tejano band that was out there que estaba pegando like you would come to T-Town. That was a given. And I'm very, very surprised, amigo.
Okay, well, let me tell you this. I stopped performing in 1993. I completely stopped, completely. And I started working, and I was managing and maintaining 30 apartments in Kingsville. I'd mow the lawn. People would stop and say, "Hey, man, you look like Pio Trevino." and I am Pio Trevino. What the hell is going on here, bro? You know,
you look like Pio Trevino.
You know, but I had to get out because my mom passed away. We were coming back from the cemetery from burying my mom, and I remember I was just like, I told my wife, I said, you know what? My son was 2 years old, my only son. I said, I want to be able to spend time with my son. Because my 4 daughters, they never saw me. I was in my prime out there, you know. Yeah. So I got to do something about this. So I told my wife, I said, you know what, honey? Don't book me anymore. I'm not performing anymore. And I stopped cold turkey, you know. And I started working, and I think I worked like 10 years in that place. And I didn't even want to turn on the radio stations, because I don't have nothing against cumbias, because I play them and I record them and everything. But in the 90s, that's when the cumbias came in the strongest. That's all you would hear on the radio, cumbia, 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 and I'm going like, no, I wasn't even listening to the radio anymore. I started listening to the radio when Selena got shot and killed. That's when I started listening to the radio.
Did you feel weird? Did you feel when you got out the way you say you got out, the first couple of weekends, were you like, what am I doing here at home? I should be on the road. I should be performing somewhere.
Well, you know what's the hardest? It's when you're laying down in bed and you're listening to the radio, or somebody's listening to a radio or something, and you hear one of your songs, you know, and you're going like, what the hell did I do, man? What did I do? And you feel like you're out of the circuit, like you're going on a railroad track, and all of a sudden the railroad track just goes the opposite way, and everybody else is going the right way. And I started feeling so like I couldn't stand it, thinking of, am I going to be able to get back into the circuit, you know? And then at the same time trying to say, no, I'm not, I don't want to have nothing to do with it, you know? And I was confused, you know? And I mean, I had a lot of people, you know, call me, write me letters and tell me, we want you to get back up there. We need your music and all this, you know. And I'm going like, wow, man. And
weren't you with a record label at the time when you got out?
On the record label? No.
Were you with a record label when you got out, or no?
No, because I was let's see now. I was with Sony.
Right, you're with Sony. That's right.
I was with Sony, and then my contract finished.
Okay.
And then Sony wanted to renew my contract, and I didn't want to because of the fact that there were some things that I wasn't happy with. You know, they promised me posters and promised me this and that, and I wasn't seeing any of it. You know, so I got completely turned off, and I didn't sign the contract. That's another reason I got out of it, because I knew I didn't have any ties with anybody, you know.
There you go.
And then back in '94, after '94, I started kind of getting the band together because I was getting calls for weddings and quinceañeras, you know. So that's what I started doing, and then I was even doing some gigs by myself. There was even a band in the Valley that was accompanying me. They wanted me to go to a parade, and they wanted me to headline the parade and stuff, and I didn't even have a band. And they said, don't worry about it. We got these guys that they know all your songs and everything. And when it played, and I mean, it's like, I never heard Magic with a bajo sexto, but I did, and it sounded badass, you know? I really liked it, you know? But I went, and finally I started my band again. And when I started my band, then I went and signed up with Fonovisa, which was one of my biggest mistakes I ever did, you know. And,
what makes you say that, Pio? What makes you say that?
Because when
¿No
I
te
started,
trataron bien? They didn't treat you right?
well, because when I started with Fonovisa, I started with good intentions and to hit it big and everything. And the freaking CD was, oh man, it was killer. When we were recording it, we were mixing it, and I had a deadline to meet because I had to go meet with the people from Fonovisa and take in the master at 10 o'clock in the morning in Houston. And I'm working, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and Rick was gonna do the mixing, and he got sick. And before I know it, Roland calls me, tells me that Rick is in the hospital. He's got some kind of a bacteria in his stomach, and he has to get an operation. So then we called Tino, this other guy that used to be a sound engineer of mine, and he went and mixed it and everything, and man, it came out great. But I mean, the people were like, they would make a magazine. There was a magazine for Tejano stuff, and Fonovisa would have the artists that they had and stuff, and they would put all the artists, and they would never include me. And then whenever I would talk to the head honchos about it, they would always say, oh man, you know, we're going to get to the bottom of this, why this happened and all this. Well, we're going to make it up to you. The next issue would come out, and again they would forget, you know. On the third time that they did it to me, I told them, I said, it looks like you guys really don't want to satisfy me in any way because you don't care that I'm not satisfied with what's going on. Well, Mr. Trevino, if you want to go ahead, we can go ahead and break the contract and everything. We'll give you a release. So I said, well, you know, might as well give me a release because I don't want to be with anybody that doesn't have any interest in what I'm doing, you know?
Sure, of course, of course.
So they gave me a release, and you know, that was it. And I'm looking for another label, and you know, and things started getting harder and harder, and now they're even the hardest, you know, because now they're, you know, a CD doesn't mean anything anymore, because you can get it offline, you can get it, you know, send it to 1 million people, and you know.
The game has changed, Pio. The game has changed.
I mean,
todo ha cambiado.
Because I'm a composer myself, and if my music gets, you know, pirated like that, I don't make no money, you know.
Of course.
And Itiahuitas, you don't want to do anything anymore. But I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. But all I know is that I do my live performances, and that's what I'm interested in, you know, in playing. You know, that's my interest in playing, because I have enough material to sing forever, you know.
Amigo, we've come full circle in a sense. I mean, we could be here for days and days, man. This is so interesting, but we've come in a sense full circle of what you've done. I know there's a whole lot more to talk about, but now that we're back and you're performing again, and I want you to tell the listeners, tell your fans, Juanita, what you were telling me right before we started the interview about when you were out there and the way the crowd was responding to you and what you felt inside feeling the crowd this past weekend. Can you go ahead and say that again, por favor, Pio?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, like every night that we perform, or that I perform, and I give you all my all, everything that I have, and then at the end of the night, people come and tell you, gosh, man, you got a great voice. How do you stay like that? How does it, how do you endure so much like that? And I mean, all I have to say is that, to me, the people, whenever I give them my energy, they give me back, and it makes me continue. I love to be able to satisfy people out there with my music. It's something that I've always, I used to always admire all these artists when they used to have all these people, jumping up and down for them and stuff. And now that I'm in that part of my life, I feel that I am so gratified to everybody that's out there on the onda that has been supporting us, because it's been real hard,
If you have to, you're performing in front of thousands of people all weekend. You come home, and come Monday morning, Tuesday morning, you're back at your regular job.
Yes. And I love what I do. I do. I love what I do, and I mean, it's like, my boss asked me the other day, he goes, hey man, are you gonna stop working sometime? And I said, you want me out of here or what? He goes, no. He goes, no. It's just that I just want to make sure that I know, because you're a good asset to my company. And I told him, I said, hey man, I'll be here until you run me off, I mean, and the same thing with my singing, it's something that I when I left it, I missed it a lot, and I lost a lot of ground when I did that, and I have to admit that one thing I have to say to everybody that's out there that wants to, whether you're a female or a male, and you're going to pursue your life as a musician, you'll never make it if you don't pursue it, and you're going to get all these ups and downs and stuff, but the only way you make it there is by going through the same freaking thing that I went through. You gotta work, and the people out there are the ones that are supporting you. It's like the other day they were talking about how I offer myself to people for pictures, for autographs and stuff like that, and that they couldn't believe that some people out there are charging for this.
That's true. That is true.
I can't believe it either, because they get from their butts up to go to one of your functions, and then you're out there charging them for an autograph or a picture. Come on, it's something that's part of what you got to do in this business. You can't you can't just try to take. You got to give, Theo,
that is very true. I've seen it several times. No digo nada. I just shake my head, and I just keep on moving forward, man. Like I said, I've done many things in my lifetime con la música. Era promotor. I was setting up events, and now I've got a radio station, and I've seen it, and I just shook my head at it, amigo. I don't understand the logic of that, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, Pio, so now that we've come full circle, man, amigo, I feel like I've known you forever, dude. I really do. Estamos hablando aquí, amigo, and I feel like I've known you forever, man. But anyways, any last words for your fans, amigo?
So just keep on supporting La Onda Tejana, and let's support us, in a way where, we can embrace each other and make this thing work, because music is something that is for everybody, and we are trying to do that, and if you guys want to be a part of it, be a part of it and support it as much as you can. And if you're wanting to be in the music business, like I said, don't fall down and give up. You gotta continue. You get up, you dust yourself off, and you continue going. And that's the only way it's going to work. And de parte de un servidor, para todos mis amigos, los quiero a todos, y Dios me los bendiga. And like I always say, love you.
Pio Trevino, thank you for being part of Robert Rivas Radio Morning Show.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.